I've got an unboxing video for you today. So I had a company who I greatly respect approached me and wanted me to do a review of the scope, and I said, well, do I have the option to purchase if I like it? They said yes. Of course I couldn't pass it up. Okay, it's Sharpstar. Okay, now I already have a Sharpstar. This one right here, this is the 61 EDPH Mark II. Some of these had some optical problems. It was just a mismatch of the coatings when they went from a doublet to a triplet. Not necessarily their fault, but they corrected the issue and corrected mine too. So I really have been happy with their scopes. I think that, and I've been saying this to everybody, that I think that Sharpstar or Askar is kind of the up and coming ZWO of the telescope industry, right? They are going to definitely surpass companies like Meade and Celestron, and Orion telescopes, who have done nothing innovative the past 20 years, really, as far as refractors go. So let's get to work here on this. Now, Askar or Sharpstar, they use two different names, all right? And the two different names, they are the same company. But the difference between Askar and Sharpstar is that the Sharpstar brand is kind of their medium range telescopes, and the Askar is more their premium optics. All right, and I actually can't remember what I got, if it's a Sharpstar or an Askar scope. We'll see when I open it. Okay, we have in here. Oh, whoa, they sent me both the flattener and the focal reducer. And this is cool. Okay. I'm very impressed with the packaging. Nice. Nice, okay. Let's get this out of here. Get some room. I think we're gonna need to get this out of here too. Because we gotta open this next. So, all right. These are obviously new because they haven't been opened yet. This is, yeah, like I think this is an Askar scope. Boy, these are big. Of course, it's a big scope. In case you didn't guess already, it's the 120 millimeter APO. It's coming out hard. There we go. Yeah, well, like I said, a lot of the refractor manufacturers out there, they just kind of rehash the same optical formulas and the same designs. What's really neat about Sharpstar and Askar is that a lot of the scopes they've been coming out with, they're brand new optical formulas, and a lot of them are newer, more modern, more complex, you know, like the 5-element designs and so forth, that are better, okay, you know, and are really the kind of innovation that we need to see in the industry. And what's also really nice, of course, is that for all their scopes, they have dedicated field flatteners and reducers. This thing is monstrous. Of course, this is a big scope. I gotta say, I'm very impressed. And boy, that's nice looking. I just love glass. Oh, I see there's a little bit of Loctite on this. So we know it's going to stay together. At least the parts that should stay together. So a lot of the manufacturers, one of them Celestron, who I don't like for a lot of reasons, they use a lot of castings in their equipment, which I think is one of the reasons why their products are kind of inferior. And they're also ugly. Ugly as sin. I don't like ugly stuff. Askar stuff is nice looking, and the majority of it's machined. And as a machinist myself, I can definitely appreciate that. Yeah, you know what? Let's get to the scope. Okay. Oh. This is quite well packed. And that's neat. Whew. You know, usually when new gear shows up, clouds roll in for like a month. But I don't ever seem to get that curse. In fact, it seems like every single time I've gotten something new, I've had like 3 or 4 good nights ahead of me. And actually, right now, like looking at the forecast, I do in fact have like 3 solid good nights ahead of me. And they're moonless. So I can do some RGB testing with this. I'm going to put the 2600 Duo on here and do some broadband RGB stuff. You know, I think one of the reasons why I don't seem to get clouds when I get new gears is because I always have the option of shooting narrowband, and it's kind of a threat to the heavens. You better behave or I'll just break out my narrowband gear. Oh, whew. That's heavy. Okay. I know. So one of the other scopes that I have, and they actually kind of wanted me to compare it with the SVBONY. That scope is definitely lighter than this is. Okay, this is a heavier scope. But boy, the rings look nice. Like I said, nice machining on it. All these radiuses look really good. The transitions are nice. It's difficult to get a good transition in a radius unless you've got good machining here. And this thing's got some really cool features. So like this whole section comes off and allows you to shorten it even more for when you're using binocular eyepieces with this thing, which I actually would not mind doing that because I'm not a complete astrophotography snob. I like doing visual as well. And this guy would be really fun to do that with. Whew. That is a monstrous focuser right there. Monstrous. Yeah, and that's something else, like their focusers, like they design and make their focusers for that scope. It's not just a random brand, because like the SVBONY, it's a more budget scope than this is. Obviously, this is a more premium piece of glass, but you know, it has a typical focuser which you would find on a lot of other scopes that are out there. They're just rebranded scopes. You know, whereas this thing here, pretty much everything on this is custom for this scope and it's designed for this scope. Like the rings even have like Askar 120 on them. If this was just a clone type scope, kind of like the Meads and the Celestrons and the what's the other one? Astrotech, I think. And Orion, of course, they wouldn't put things like that on there because then they wouldn't be able to swap from scope to scope. And like lots, this is all opened up, which is nice because it keeps that lighter. Although the scope is heavy. Now the finish, boy. So this is like a glossy powder coat type finish, which looks like it's maybe even buffed or something. It's got a clear coat over the powder coat, whatever it is. Probably a little more durable than straight powder coat. But it's definitely more compact than the SVBONY 122 is that I had for quite a while actually. And a friend of mine actually has it right now. We'll see if I can get it back so I can have both of them next to each other, but this is going to be fun. So yeah, like I said, I got like 3 good nights ahead of me, and even tonight's a great night, although I don't think I'm going to put this thing together tonight because it's been a long day in the shop. I did a 10-hour day in the machine shop today, so I'm kind of tired. But yeah, this thing is really, really quite neat. All right, I will do like a first kind of impressions of the use of this thing kind of video next, you know, where I've actually used the thing a little bit. And then I will probably do a 3rd video that will be like my final review, my final thoughts on it. Well, like I typically did, kind of like I did with the SV